You picked up your phone to check one thing. That was 40 minutes ago. You've read about a war, a scandal, 3 opinions about the economy, and a comment section that made you feel worse about humanity than you did before you started. You didn't want to do that. You knew, somewhere in the back of your mind, that you were going to regret it. And you did it anyway. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, commander of armies, the most powerful man alive for nearly 2 decades, wrote about this exact experience in his private journal. Not doom-scrolling, obviously, but the same mechanism, the same loss of control, the same war between what you know you should do and what you keep doing anyway. And the way he fought it is worth understanding. Doom-scrolling is not a laziness problem. It's not even really a willpower problem. It's an attention economy problem that's been engineered by some of the smartest teams in the world specifically to override your self-control. The average person now spends over 6 hours a day looking at screens. A significant portion of that is passive consumption. News feeds, social media, comment sections. Content designed not to inform you but to provoke you. To keep you in a state of low-grade agitation that makes you reach for the phone again 30 seconds after you put it down. The technical term is variable reward schedule. The same psychological mechanism behind slot machines. You don't know if the next scroll will bring something interesting, enraging, or meaningless. That unpredictability is what makes it impossible to stop. But here's what's interesting. The ancient world had its own version of this. Roman public life was a constant stream of noise. Political gossip, spectacle, the arena, the forum. Rumors of wars and conspiracies. The equivalent of a comment section, but louder and more dangerous. Marcus Aurelius lived inside that noise every day, and he spent 20 years writing privately about how to keep his mind from being consumed by it. What he discovered isn't just relevant. It's more precise than anything the modern self-help industry has produced on the subject. The Meditations, the private journal Marcus kept for himself, never intending anyone else to read, opens with a question he returned to constantly. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That line gets quoted everywhere, but what people miss is the mechanism behind it, the actual practice he used to apply it in real time. Marcus called it the dichotomy of control, a clean, brutal division of everything in the world into 2 categories: things within your control, things outside it. Everything on your feed is in the second category. Every piece of news, every opinion, every development in a story you've been following for weeks. None of it is within your control, not one pixel of it. Marcus's move, the one he practiced every morning before dealing with Rome, was to ask a single question before engaging with anything. Is there an action I can take here, or am I just consuming? If there's an action, respond, help, decide, move, take it and move on. If there's no action, if you're just watching, reacting, feeling, that's the moment to stop. This sounds obvious. It's not, because the feed is specifically designed to make you feel like consuming is doing something. Reading about the crisis feels like engaging with the crisis. It isn't. It's the illusion of engagement. And Marcus saw through it 2,000 years before the feed existed. The practical version. Next time you pick up your phone, ask before you open anything. Am I about to do something, or am I about to watch something? That single question asked honestly is enough to break the loop most of the time. There's a passage in the Meditations that hits differently once you understand the context. The things you think about determine the quality of your mind. Your soul takes on the color of your thoughts. Marcus wrote this as emperor. He had absolute power over everything in the Roman world. Armies, laws, borders, lives. Everything except one thing. His attention. He couldn't stop the senators from scheming. He couldn't stop the barbarian invasions. He couldn't stop the plague that killed millions during his reign. He couldn't control what happened in the arena or what rumors circulated in the forum. What he could control, the only thing he had total sovereignty over, was where his mind went. This is the frame that changes everything about how you see doom-scrolling. Every time you scroll, you are making a decision about where your attention goes. And your attention is not neutral. It is not a passive observer. Marcus understood that attention is generative. It produces the quality of your inner life. What you look at repeatedly you become, not metaphorically, neurologically. The modern research backs this completely. Repeated exposure to threat-based content, which is the majority of news and social media, literally recalibrates your nervous system toward threat detection. You become more anxious, more reactive, more convinced the world is worse than it is. Marcus's prescription. Treat your attention like territory. It is yours. It belongs to you. Every time you hand it to the feed, you are surrendering territory you cannot easily reclaim. The question isn't, should I stay informed? The question is, who is currently in charge of my mind, me, or the algorithm? Here's the part that's practically useful. Marcus didn't just philosophize about attention. He built a daily practice to protect it. And we know exactly what it looked like because he wrote it down. Every morning, before dealing with the court, the Senate, the military dispatches, before any external input came in, Marcus spent time in what he called premeditation. Not meditation in the modern sense. Something more specific. He would mentally rehearse the day ahead, anticipating the provocations he was likely to face. Not to worry about them, but to predecide how he would respond before they happened. He wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." That sounds pessimistic. It's the opposite. He wasn't catastrophizing. He was inoculating himself against surprise. By anticipating difficulty, he removed its power to knock him off center. Applied to doom-scrolling, the practice looks like this. Before you open your phone in the morning, before the first scroll, decide what you're looking for. Not in a rigid way. Just a direction. I'm checking messages. I'm reading one news summary. I'm looking at this one thing. A stated intention, however small, breaks the passive autopilot that the feed depends on. Marcus also used what he called evening review, the same practice Seneca recommended. At the end of the day, he would ask, where did I lose control of my attention today? What pulled me off course? What would I do differently? Not to punish himself, to recalibrate, to carry the lesson into the next morning's premeditation. The loop. Morning intention, day, evening review, better morning intention. It's not a productivity system. It's a practice of staying in command of the only thing that's actually yours. So let's go back to where we started. You picked up your phone to check one thing. 40 minutes later, you feel worse than before you started. Marcus Aurelius would not judge you for that. He spent 20 years writing to himself about the same struggle. Fighting to keep his mind from being consumed by the noise around him. Failing sometimes, recalibrating, trying again. What he'd tell you is this. The scroll isn't the problem. The absence of intention is the problem. The moment you hand your attention to something without deciding to, that's the moment you lose the only territory that was ever really yours. His prescription is simple. Not easy, simple. Before you open anything, ask, am I doing something or just watching? Protect your morning. The first 30 minutes of your day determine the quality of everything that follows. The feed knows this. That's why it's designed to reach you the moment you wake up. Beat it by 30 minutes. That's all Marcus asked of himself. One moment of intention before the noise begins. Your attention is not infinite. It is not renewable in unlimited quantities. It is the material your life is made of. Spend it like it matters. Because Marcus Aurelius, emperor of the known world, who could have looked at anything, chose every morning to look inward first. If this gave you something useful, subscribe. Every week, one modern problem. One ancient answer. They had more time to think than we do. We might as well use it.